Welcome back, everyone. Or welcome me back, I guess I should say. Yeah, it's Tuesday, December 29th. I am your host, Javier Hernandez, and this is a brand new episode of Los Comex TV. So yes, boy, it turned out to be a 6-month summer and fall hiatus, which I wasn't really planning. So anyway, we got a few more days till 2021. Boy, that's a whole nother thing to talk about. So let me just update everybody here. A lot of you follow me on social networks, so you're definitely more up to date on what I've been up to and doing. But there may be folks who only watch the channel, which is cool, and there'll be new people checking this out, I imagine. So let's see, June 23rd was the last video I did, and I was talking about launching my Kickstarter, which I launched on, I think it was the 24th, June 24th. I launched a Kickstarter for these books right here. I think before the last time video I showed a printout of the covers, but these are, as you know, if you followed the Kickstarter, supported it, whatever, physical books. So 3 books I did, including this one and Diablo, an art book. I'll put this aside for now. And I know there's going to be a glare on these because of the overhead light. But please bear with me. It only happens on the shiny stuff like the covers. So this is a preview book, CASA del Diablo. CASA del Diablo is the second El Muerto graphic novel that I'm working on. The first one being Days of the Dead. I'm sure that has a glare too, but I'm going to try to move it a little bit, maybe, hopefully not. But anyway, this is the first graphic novel, came out in 2017, I believe. It was a all newly drawn origin story, kind of retelling the original Muerto comics. I started doing this in '98, so I had a couple of issues over the years, and decided to, instead of publishing those in a book, because the art style from 20 years ago, not as good as it is today. So I just redrew the early stories, and then completed the ending, and I put that in the book. So this is a 2018 edition. There was a previous edition, the first edition of the graphic novel in 2017, right here, Days of the Dead. And then I did a special for the 20th anniversary of El Muerto. I did this special cover, Dia de los Muertos edition. Anyway, when the story left off at the circus down in Baja California, Diego meets this circus family. They're being forced to perform in a freak show. And just really quick, the end of the comic, the end of the story, the family takes off. The circus has been destroyed, and a big spoiler alert. And then Diego makes his way to a car, which belonged to one of the evil circus owners, but he needs a car, and that's how it ends. So the new graphic novel, which I'm working on, starts off, right? He's driving the Volkswagen. He's making his way from Mexicali across to Tijuana in northern Mexico. So anyway, I started drawing the graphic novel, and like I like to do a preview of it. So this preview comic. Oh, I'm sorry, really quick. I'm jumping around here. So that was the beginning of the story, the graphic novel. And, I got up to page 26, 28, whatever, which is in this preview book. But I felt I wanted to start the book off actually with his friend Zach. If you remember him from the first graphic novel, Zach is devastated, heartbroken, distraught over Diego disappearing. So we're catching up with Zach. And Zach is doing a video recording, talking to Diego wherever Diego may be, because he's been missing for a whole year. And some of the friends think he's dead. Some think he's disappeared somewhere, some reason. So that's what Zach. So I thought I'd start the story off with this emotional punch, right? Let's focus in on poor Zach, how he's not dealing too well with the loss. And then we cut to Diego cutting across the mountains, La Rumerosa Highway, and he encounters this woman, Dolores, and turns out her car's crashed, and she's on the hunt because her child has been kidnapped by somebody, and she's trying to find it. So her and Diego cross paths, and of course he's going to help her try to find the infant. So I did a preview comic for my Kickstarter to help, people help fund it, the printing of it. So this is the first 26 pages. I believe it's 26, 28. You think by now I would know this, right? 26 was the first 28 pages. And then I also did a special deluxe edition, previewed deluxe edition, which is the same comic, same 28-page story, which obviously ends on a cliffhanger because it's like I'm working on the graphic novel, but it's got some extra behind the scenes stuff, how I came up with the story, how I work, my method. And the big, I guess the big bonus here is you get the rough draft thumbnails that I draw. I draw the whole novel out, graphic novel out in thumbnail pages. And I think I have one here. Yeah, this is the actual page. It's just an 8.5 by 11 photocopy paper, what we used to call typing paper. So what I did, so I print them in the book here. So for people who love this type of stuff, I know I do as a reader, you can compare my original version of page 1, Zach at the computer, to the final version, which is, it's penciled neater, obviously, and then inked and lettered. So there's always changes between the initial, I mean, right here's Diego and Zach talking. Then there's a shot of this guy, sheriff, and then Zach's face. Same basic thing, but, there's a close-up of Zach. I wanted to show more of his arm resting on his head, showing that anguish. Anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but that's what the deluxe version is. And then there's notes on the bottom, little like director commentary, so creator commentary, kind of letting you know what I was thinking, why did it change from the final version, whatever. So anyway, that's for people who like this type of stuff, which so many of us do. Some production art of the new characters coming up. Your name might be in here. This is the thank you list of Amigos del Muerto, the backers, everybody who backed the Kickstarter. It's common for people put the backers' names in the book. So if your name's up in there, thank you. So anyway, so there was these 2 books done, and I also had another book done. I know the glare is going to happen with this one now. Endiablado. It's just an art book. It's a new character that I'm working on called Devil Muerto. It looks like it's kind of based on the Japanese character Devil Man, but again, the whole story's in here. But it's kind of like a devil version of El Muerto, skull head and skeletal bat wings. So anyway, I came up with this idea, this character, one night, just thinking about it almost overnight, and then I ended up doing a lot of sketches and drawings and color pieces for it just to figure out the character. And I decided to put him in this art book, right? It's not a story. There is a 2-page quick comic story I did. If you can tell the style, it's very rough, right? Like here's my final finished artwork. This comic was literally, I drew it in my sketchbook with a marker. I didn't use pencil as far as I know. So if you know anything about art, drawing with the marker where you can't erase it, and you can't really sketch. Well, I didn't want to. I wanted just to look like a final drawing. So it's a rougher story, but it is technically the first Devil Muerto story. And then here's the list of people on one page. Same list as in the other books, but got it on one page. Anyway, these books, they are available in my web shop. At Store Envy. I'll put the link down at the bottom of the video. Store Envy, what is it? loscomex.storeenvy.com, but it'll be down in the bottom. If you want to order it, I have different combos of, I don't know, I think you can get this one and this one, or anyway, you can look at it. There's different things available, and you get a bunch of stickers and some postcards that I had as part of the Kickstarter rewards, and some buttons. Anyway, if you're interested in getting my new books, you can check out my web store. So what I'm going to do right now, excuse me, just to talk to you guys just kind of catch up on what I've been up to the last 6 months. I'm going to ink, right? So this is a page of the comic. I think this is page 40. So yeah, here's the rough draft. And here's the it's not all going to fit. I guess if I do it this way, you can see the whole thing. You'll notice that I didn't draw this yet, the middle part, although I do have it in the layout. It's a truck. But when I got to it, I was like, okay, I'm not sure. I might want to change the position of the truck or the angle, or even, I do want a shot of that truck driving the countryside at night. So I may change the angle and everything. So I just skipped over. I drew the bottom panel. And just because the way my setup is here, instead of inking this top one, I'm going to figure this looks nice on the camera. I'm going to ink this bottom panel. You know, when doing comics, there is no like formula like, oh, you must absolutely finish this one, that one. I mean, you know, I usually do just for the flow of it. But for the purpose of demonstration, I thought this is a little more dynamic looking, I think, for the purpose of, you know, sharing online. You know, I like these drawings too, but you're asking me to draw these 3 shots of these characters, or this shot with this woman with the Magneto, the devil, and the old woman here, La Doña Macaria La Dolente, and the flames in the graves. We're gonna draw that. We're gonna draw that. So let me check. Always check them. Yeah, always have a sheet of paper ready to check the ink flow on the pen. So the Kickstarter, yeah, that's a whole involved process. Anyone who's ever run one, or if you at least supported one, you can imagine, you kind of have an idea of the work involved. So that was almost like a full-time commitment on my end. So I spent the rest of the months, you know, the end of June all the way into July when the campaign was over. You know, I'm almost every day I'm on the internet, my different social networks, you know, promoting it, right? You got to keep sending people to the Kickstarter to support it. Sorry, I might be quiet a couple of times as I'm concentrated on this, but I definitely want to keep talking to you guys. So yeah, it took you know, and then once the campaign was over, then I had to, you know, send all the books off to the printers and all the artwork I had, like for the buttons and the stickers, start sending that off, because once the campaign's over, I think Kickstarter sends you all the money that was collected by the pledges. I think a month later, or maybe 2 weeks later, something like that. So then, once that, you know, was done, then I started shipping everything out. At least sending all the orders, getting all the you know, buttons and comics and everything sent off to the various printers and manufacturers. That's what I'm trying to say. And then of course that stuff comes back. As it starts coming back, I gotta sort it and, you know, whatever. And then once the comics came back, then it was time for fulfillment, where I gotta go through and, you know, package up everybody's whatever they backed. You know, what one person may have got 1 comic, somebody may have gotten 3 comics and original artwork, or whatever it was. So it's just a lot of work. Not complaining, that's just the way it is. And it was just me doing it, basically. So yeah, it was a full-time job, just doing all the orders and, you know, packing everything and all that stuff. So and then, you know, so then that's taking me into what, September, I think October, and then I started shipping out, I think it's October, I forget now. But then also I teach, as you guys may or may not know. I teach comic book workshops for various organizations throughout Los Angeles. So I was working with this group, Artworks LA. I've been there about a year or 2. And I wasn't sure I was actually going to be teaching in the fall because of, right, the pandemic, COVID, the schools shut down here across the country, but definitely here in California and Los Angeles. But yeah, I got word sometime in the summer, like, yeah, we're going to be teaching. We're going to be working with the schools again. We're going to be teaching remotely, online. Like, you know, I'm sure you've heard most people doing that. And yeah, there we go. What was I saying? Someone's yelling out, oh, you said this. Yeah. Yeah, so I did end up teaching. So that started, in, I guess, September. The nice thing about working from home is you don't have to drive. I do not miss driving. like, you know, out to the locations, you know, time-wise, because you figure that takes about an hour and a half out of your day coming and going, maybe 2 hours. So I got those 2 hours back, right? By just, all I got to do is walk to another room here, and then where I had my video set, my camera set up, computer set up to teach the students. So anyway, that was kind of almost a full-time gig. So, but I've been, you know, slowly been working back on this comic, on the graphic novel, Casa del Diablo, and then some other stuff. And then it's like, hey, I'm realizing, okay, you know what? Now it's been, you know, 3, 4, 5, now it's 6, we're at 6 months, no Los Comex TV. So here we are. You know, thank you for watching the previous episodes. Thank you for watching this one. I hope there's no, you know, I don't know if what I just said here was an excuse, but I was gonna say there's no excuse for, you know, disappearing for all this time off the show. But I'm here right now. Hopefully you guys are back. Hopefully you're up for more content. You know, I'm sure you've watched plenty of other things while I've been away. Other YouTube channels, or just, you know, videos, or all the streaming services, blah 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 blah. So but yeah, it's good to be back talking with you guys. It's kind of funny, right? Like, you're not really here, I'm not really with you, but you know what I mean. So yeah, here we are. The thing about doing these videos this way, yeah, because it's not live, so I don't have interactive chat room and all that. But you know, I guess I'll drone on for the next however long this takes. But what else can I tell you? So teaching remotely was a new thing for me. For I guess all the instructors there. But yeah, I'm looking at it like, okay, we'll see how this goes. So we had a lot of training. You know, they told us a lot of techniques to consider and things like that, helpful tips and such. But and they're for LAUSD, Los Angeles Unified School District schools. So teenage high school audiences. But I have to say, for, like, you know, once we were all done, we finished about 2 weeks ago, I think. From my perspective, I was happy. I was satisfied with how it worked out. Like, you know, I feel like I did a good job as far as connecting with the students, and, you know, it seems like the feedback I got and just interacting with them, you know, on the class, I definitely feel that. And that's just one thing I was conscious of, because during our training, they actually had a video from a student who had undergone some of the online learning, and he had said, the student, and the consensus among his fellow students was, the thing they did miss was that interaction with the instructors. So when I heard that in our training, I made a note in my head, like, okay, you know what? Really telling myself, really, like, pump up the interaction as far as, you know, you're on camera, so, but, you know, really try to connect with the students as far as, you know, not just like talking into a camera lens. So anyway, I feel I did accomplish that. I know it's difficult because students are at home, right? Think about this. The students are at home, and so are all their other siblings, right? Because all the schools, for the most part, were closed down. So sometimes the students have to take care of the little kids. So that's not easy, right? They're trying to, like, log on and do this. So it was definitely challenging. I'm very sympathetic to their individual circumstances. So I don't want to be too selfish when I say, like, oh, it was fine. But I'm just saying, for me, I was satisfied that I was able to, you know, do a good job of connecting with the students, and, you know, presenting them the material, the comic book instruction, and letting them know that, you know, their creative voice is, you know, one of the most important things that they have, that nobody could take away from any of us. So yeah, give the kids a little bit of motivational speech there. But this is I'm doing what I love here, besides teaching, is making my own comics, telling my own story, right? The El Muerto story, in this case. The second major storyline here, Casa del Diablo, House of the Devil. yeah, I definitely wanted to give the second book, which is pretty heavy, a horror story. Um, definitely give it like that old classic, like Mexican B movie, or just, you know, horror B movie sound, House of the Devil. And in Spanish, it just even sounds more ominous, Casa del Diablo. So that's what this is. Like I mentioned, it's you know, in the first book, after Diego gets killed in that car accident, and he wakes up at the land of the dead, Mictlan, with the gods, Mictlan, Tecutlitas, Catlipoca, and they send him back to Earth a year later. He makes his way to Mexico because Diego doesn't want to just rush back to his friends because it's been a year. You know, he's like, well, he wants to figure out what the heck happened to him before he just goes waltzing back in everybody's life. You know, I'm curious what people think about that. Like, no one's told me yet, but you know, I want to be surprised. Someone say, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I would rush back home as fast as I could to my friends, to my life. So maybe that's the case. But you know, this is a comic book story, so the drama of him coming back, but he can't actually go back, literally into his old life. So, plus anyway, by putting him in Mexico, I was able to explore stuff in that first book where he ends up at that freak show. And he also went down to Mexico because he wants to find a, excuse me a second, I'm looking for my markers, my Micron pens. Where did I put those? Oh my gosh, okay. You know, I could swear I saw it before I started filming. Like, okay, keep it at hand. Oh, here we go, number 8. Right here, this is a Micron pen. You know, it's got, oh, what did I pull off? I pulled off the tip of the cap. Okay, that's just the cap. Okay, woo. So it's a marker with the tip, you know, like a solid tip, as opposed to the brush pen. So this is good for little details, like her one open eye. Yikes. And then a mouthful of crooked, jagged, sharp teeth. What sharp little teeth you have, Grandma? So yeah, the other reason Diego decided to go to Mexico first is a curandero, right? A witch doctor, a healer, medicine healer. So maybe he figures maybe if he gets down to that guy, maybe that guy can figure out what the hell happened to him. So at the beginning of this story, like I showed you, he's driving across from where he was at in Mexicali, driving across to Tijuana, where this medicine man resides. But on his way down there, of course, he gets mixed up with this character, Dolores, and the plight of her and her missing baby boy. So, and obviously you can tell this stuff here is definitely part of the Casa del Diablo, the House of the Devil. So anyway, here I am working on it. Sometimes people ask me how long does it take to do a page, and again, it just there's no set answer because it's always different. I mean, obviously, like, well, it depends how much detail there is in the page. You know, how much stop and go I do on the page, as far as, you know, if I have to redraw something or whatever it is. But sometimes when I finish a page, I try to take note of it. Honestly, like, to ink this whole, if I just sat and inked it all at one time, including the middle panel that's missing, could be like, say, an hour and a half or 2 hours, roughly. So maybe 2 hours a page. But then it took me another maybe hour to draw it, right? Pencil it. So, you know, everything adds up. Every little stroke and mark you're making is goes on the clock, right? So Just lining the roadway here with tombstones and such. Like that Depeche Mode song, "Death is Everywhere," flies on the windscreen. And the fires of hell. Enveloping her down here. That's the about drawing something like flames is, you know, very spontaneous. Is I don't know if you can see really close, but you know, I'm not following the pencil line I had down there. That was just like a guide. Whereas on the faces and the bodies and everything else, I try to kind of follow along. But like I said, the flames are free form. They're organic, I guess, and you can just do a lot more looser marks, you know, making it. So little licks of flame there. Okay. What else can I tell you? So yeah, you know, back to doing this. Everybody's had a very tough, long year. You know, a lot of terrible stuff. You know, some death, unfortunately. People getting sick and dying, and you know, the terrible stuff is dying alone because, right, you can't have, you know, like, you know, before everybody goes to the hospital and, you know, can sit there and wait in the person's room. You know, that's not been able to happen this time because of, you know, the severity of the COVID. So, and then, you know, funerals, you know, funerals aren't like they used to be, where everybody gathers in memorials. So yeah, it's been extremely difficult. So, you know, with that, you know, I still hope everybody's, you know, okay. And, you know, we just all had our Christmas holiday. So I just I hope everybody had as good a time as they could. Yeah, it's just, boy, this is going to be we're going to be remembering this year for decades, right? All of us, especially younger folk. I mean, I think the last major thing here in the U.S. was the 9/11 attacks. Remember that? That was like a nationwide thing. This is a worldwide thing. I can't remember the last time there was literally worldwide. Like literally, I would say every country, right, suffered through this pandemic. So yeah, I mean, this is one for the history books and the you know, and your memories. So, but you know, I count my blessings as far as my family. I know I had a niece who has it, so I think she's almost done with recovery, if I remember. But I mean, I'm sure we've all had people that we know who've had it, friends and such. So, but yeah, you know, I'm going to count my blessings. I try to be as careful as I can. Like, you know, I'm sure we all try. What else here? Kind of adding some. You can't, but I don't know what. I guess you wouldn't say there's shadows on the flames, just accent, and some accent on some of them. And I got to think what I'm doing here, or how I want to do this. I think I'm gonna make all this black down here. I'm not sure. See, here's my sketch. I know there's narration that goes in there, but I can put it in a narration box. I do like the idea of give me something to do while I'm talking. Just blacken this in here. Blackening it in. Is that the right word? So I'm gonna. Hopefully, I don't have to change the ink cartridge on this while I'm talking to you, but if so, then I will. So yeah, the plan is, I mean, we're already in the, end of December. The plan for this graphic novel, I was telling people originally the spring, but let's see how that works out. I mean, how long does spring last? Till May? 5 months from now? So follow me on, well, I'm sure I'll be talking about it on the channel anyway. I'm not always going to talk about my progress on the channel. I got other things, other topics and things I want to do on it. One of my friends, I asked him, I go, hey, so I know you're a fan of the channel, thanks. Which of the type of segments do you like? The reading pile or, this and that? He goes, well, I like when you do he said, like what I'm doing now, like when you're drawing or you're inking or something and you're talking about different topics. So, I don't want to just talk about the page at hand the whole time. So yeah, like right now I'm catching you guys up on the last half of my 2020. So and I've done that, yeah, and I know I did that on other episodes, kind of have the drawing, the inking going on as background visual as I talk about whatever particular topic. So I'll definitely do more of those, because I probably will do more episodes where I'm inking pages, because I got to ink the pages anyway. So it could be a nice background thing. But if there's anything you guys would like me to talk about, I don't know, like whatever it is, if it's relevant to my work, that'd be great. I mean, like, hey, what about when you worked on, I don't know, Man Swamp? Tell us about the backstory, whatever it is. Or working on the movie or teaching or whatever it is. Or if it's something, throw it in the comments section. Like, hey, what did you think of so-and-so movie? If I've seen it, if I saw the movie you're asking about, I will definitely tell you my opinion about it. If I haven't seen it, I'll say, oh, I haven't seen that yet. And then, yeah, either I'll want to see it, or, or I won't be interested in that particular movie. But that's all right. Don't take it personal. So, yeah, please, any comments down below, I appreciate. While I'm at it, please like the episode. I still haven't figured out everything on YouTube, but it's always good when you like something, right? It registers something. So, it can only be a good thing. Let's see here. Yeah, it's making the character pop out here a little bit, so I do like that. What else? I thought I had more things to share, but this might be a shorter video today. Right, if you look at the other videos, they go, 30, 40, 45 minutes, 50 sometimes. I think 35 is 30 minutes, 40 minutes is good. Let's see here. So yeah, this is always good for, fine detail. I'm gonna turn this upside down so I don't run my hand over the ink. But because I have some pencil lines here, I see what I need to add some shadows under her eyes. Some hairlines, hair strands. What else? Let's see. That might be it for that one. Throwing some more little details on La Doña's face head with the this marker here. She's got like an Aunt May bun, right? Her hair pulled back. I did an episode on black and white art, like, you know, some favorite ones I like and why I like working in black and white art. Hopefully maybe this is a video, more demonstration of that. I love color, obviously. I mean, I've done plenty of color work. But to color a whole graphic novel, like, to me, would add a whole other layer of months to the production, and then the cost would be a little more significant on the printing and then having to sell it, at least the way things are nowadays, you know, for right now, the technology and such available and the pricing. So, yeah, Muerto's black and white. Although I did a story last year. The last year or this year? Last year was the 20th anniversary, right? 18. Let's see. Yeah, 2018 was the 20th anniversary. I did a color comic, a new El Muerto story in color, which is out of print, but I will be putting that back in print. So next year, yeah, this graphic novel, and then I'll be doing another episode. I guess the next episode I do, you know, covering like, okay, Happy New Year. Here's what's going on at Los Comex. But the graphic novel is obviously going to be the #1 core thing from me. Okay, I think that the bottom's done. I'll probably ink these. I don't want to do it now because, like I said, it's still dry. Well, maybe I could. Let me, okay. Let me ink El Muerto here first, and I'll just go backwards. So, Los Comex TV is back, and I was messaging with a friend of mine, and we're just talking about some topics. And then we're talking about manga, I think. And then I mentioned that, like, oh, I reviewed some manga. I did some manga reviews, unboxing, as they call it. You know, Go Nagai, Devilman. There's three episodes of that. If you want to check those out, if you haven't checked them out, you can check them out on my channel. Yeah, so he went and watched them. So I thought that was, you know, that's the beauty about this YouTube. Like, well, yeah, once the episodes are done, they're always up. You can always direct someone to it, like if they mention something they like, I go, oh, I covered that, or so. And like I said, you know, you can always suggest something to me, like what you'd like me to talk about, or you can suggest something on the show you'd like to see. And again, I'm not going to promise I'm going to address it, but well, I mean, I'll address it. Like I'll say, oh, you know, that's not the focus right now or whatever. But like if someone says, hey, check out the 5 seasons of so-and-so show, that's probably not going to happen, only because time-wise. Like, I would not be able to invest the time in 5 seasons or even 1 season. So like I said, like on the one hand, you're welcome. I'm open to hearing your suggestions, but please don't take it wrong. Like, he didn't do what I asked him. I mean, but you know, you may throw something out there that I never heard of, and it's like, oh my God, that sounds really interesting, or like I have to check that out, you know, for whatever reason. Also, you know, always comment down below on whatever you saw on, you know, the current episode. Your comments, you know, are always welcome, and it could be helpful. You might say, hey, maybe when you do this next time, maybe, you know, whatever it is. Or just say you liked it if you liked it. That's also nice. There we go. Oh yeah, there are sunglasses he's wearing, so they gotta be. I leave a wavy line in the middle, right, for the, you know, the little shiny reflection on the glasses. There we go. So I'm gonna go through and draw the border with my Sharpie and my ruler. I want this to dry a little bit more. Anyway, so yeah, there's the bottom. There's one panel on top, and then I think right here in the middle, you should be able to see it. There's the bottom panel I drew while you guys were accompanying me here. So here's the let me see if I think these fit on the camera. There's the original sketch, and this is the final version. And like I said, I'm going to draw a truck driving. So depending on what I do with the truck and the ground it's on, the ground may bleed down into these flames here. I mean, it's all C. I don't know if I'm going to have more black in here or just a bunch of gravel, little rock pebbles all over. You know, so these two panels are going to blend together, kind of. So just so you know, so she's basically telling Diego and Dolores her origin story, right? Flashbacks. There's her with her sewing needles. What do you call those big long knitting needles? And the devil, gravestones, and now her here cackling. So dun dun. That's not ominous and got your attention. I don't know what will. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today's episode. So yeah, let's say this is the last episode of 2020. I don't know how many episodes I have. I should have checked. I think I'm up in 30, maybe 30, a little over 30 episodes. I think, or maybe late, I don't know, 25, 30, 35 episodes. But it's been a great run doing these. Sorry for the long gap, but I think getting back into it, it's like, yeah, I do like doing these, connecting with you guys, at least sharing stuff, and then hopefully hearing your comments about it later. So I want to try to do some interviews too, believe it or not, with fellow artists, creators and such. There's all kinds of technology available, free apps, and I've done some of those through Latino Comics Expo this last summer. Hopefully you got to see that. And such. So yeah, I think it'd be nice maybe throwing some interviews with other artists, other creators. Not every episode, but once in a while. I think it'll be a nice change of pace. You even get to see me on camera. Usually I just do an overshot because I want to just get right to showing you what I'm showing you, comics, artwork, whatever. But I'm not camera shy. I've been on plenty of interview videos. So anyway, that's it then. So thanks everybody. Welcome back, and welcome me back. Thank you. This has been Los Comex TV, and I wish believe me, yes, I definitely wish everybody a way much better 2021, right? A much happier new year. So be careful out there. We're not out of this pandemic yet. We're all waiting for vaccines and all that. But continue to stay safe, you and your loved ones, your family and friends, and we'll be seeing each other again here on Los Comex TV. Thank you.